Jason on my original one, so
Okay, we got 9 o'clock and we try to pride ourselves on starting on time. A few things I want to go over first with the group before we call court together. The governor announced 5 steps yesterday. He's asking everybody to wear a mask when they're within 6 feet distance of anybody. Also to keep that 6 foot social distance, and with that, he cut gatherings of 10 or less. I don't want nobody having any kind of gathering with over 10 people, which we're spread out pretty good this morning. We look like we're all 8 or 9, 10 feet apart. Closing bars for 2 weeks, public bars. Going to limit restaurants to 25% indoor. Outdoor can remain as long as there's a social distance between people. And no school until at least the 3rd week of August. Yesterday in the state of Kentucky, there were 522 new cases, and that came to 5.53% of the tests that they ran yesterday came in positive. The Barron River report was showing 90 new cases since Friday, which 31 of them was in Barron County, 2 in Butler. There was no increase in Edmondson. There was 8 new cases in Hart, 6 in Logan, 4 in Metcalf, 3 in Simpson, and 36 in Warren. Logan County's got 6 new cases and 1 death, and 226 people recovered, with a total of 47 active cases in the county at this time. So we need to remember all those folks today when we do our prayer, and just pray for the court meeting this morning that the Lord will bless the decision made here today. And with that being said, I'm going to ask Scotty Harper if he'll do our prayer this morning.
Lord, thank you for the wonderful day that you've given us, come together to do the business of your county, Lord. And we just ask that you would be with each one of the leaders that are present today. This board, that the decisions that are made, talked about, we agree with you. And we ask you to continue to be with our state and federal leaders. The decisions that they make moving forward, Lord, will also be pleasing to you. And Lord, we ask you to be with the people that are sick in our community. The elderly, the more health virus, we ask you to be with them, touch them special today, and let them know that you're present when they arrive. We give you all the thanks for this.
Amen.
Okay, let's call the fiscal court meeting order with pledge to the flag. And Jason, you want to lead us this morning?
Yes, sir. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it's good to see everybody this morning. We'll start out this morning with the approval of the minutes from the last court meeting. And with that, before we get into approving the minutes, order number 3, this wasn't included in the minutes, but it's the schedule for expenditures for federal award. Was part of the report y'all got at the last meeting, and order number 3, it needs to be that change made before we approve them. And then in the budget transfers, the 3rd one down, 012015-205 should be 015015-205. That change need to be made too.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes. Go ahead and add these changes as presented.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second to approve the minutes with those changes. Is there any questions? Okay, not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, this morning we got a couple of special guests with us this morning, and I've got Karen Logan. We're going to let Karen come up and give some kind of a chamber report on the tobacco festival.
Since I'm distant, is it okay if I?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Morning. I know you've seen the front page of the newspaper.
Is that mic
probably.
on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. So the unfortunate has happened this year, but I just kind of wanted to fill you guys in. So originally, the chamber board had to be the one to make the decision on festival because that's, the chamber is who does festival, orchestrates it, I should say. So originally through the year, none of us knew it would last this long, I don't think. So we watched it, things like that. So as we got closer and the numbers grew, it was apparent that we had to really look hard at what the governor was putting out. So I just wanted you guys to know, we met with the health department. We needed some guidance on interpreting the healthy at work, which are the guidelines we were supposed to go by in relation to festivals and carnivals and things like that. So if we were to have festival, I just wanted you to know what it would have looked like just in a little snippet. We would have had to have fencing and barriers completely all the way around the area so that we would know how many square footage was inside the area so that we could have it at 50% capacity. So you guys know how hard that would be alone by itself. And then we would have to collect the names, addresses, and phone numbers of everyone in attendance. We would have also had to maintain social distance within 6 feet because we know more than likely most people would not wear masks. That includes booths, food lines, everything. The gatherings, the day before the decision was made, the gatherings the governor announced went from 50 to 10. And then also we would have had to take in the temperatures of everyone in attendance, which would have been harder being an outside event as well because their temperatures would have been higher than they would indoors. So anyway, we really had no choice. There were events. I did a 9-page report just around what other people were doing. We felt like that was the best for our community. If there was, we did not want one sickness or one death linked back to Logan County and having this event. And ultimately that was what, between that and the guidelines, is what made that decision for Logan County. So we will not have a festival this year. I did want you guys to know, in lieu of that, we are going to try to do a few virtual, mostly like a virtual walking tour. I'm going to be recording Miss Evelyn Richardson talking and showing the photos. That way we can have that from here on out, put it on our website. We are also going to be doing a video that we will have to, pay for, but we're asking the community for photos and any video clips that they have of prior festivals, whether they were kind of recent or whether they were many years back. We want to put together, we want to honor just the tradition and the history of festival and allow everyone to enjoy that through remembering years past. So that's something that we are going to be doing. So I think, this year was the first year. It's kind of interesting to say this the way, but since 1957, this festival has continued every year from the Logan County Chamber of Commerce. So this is the first time since World War II that this has been canceled. So that was pretty significant, and then we're in the middle of a pandemic. So anyway, that is really all that I have. We do have a logo that we created knowing that we were in the pandemic. It's called Logan United, Stronger Together. We wanted to focus on that even though we're in the middle of this, we are collectively stronger together and that we're united through it. So that is a message that we're going to continue to put out. We will do, we'll be doing t-shirts. We've had several requests to do that. So with that being said, we'll hope to see you guys next year. Just wanted to thank you guys so much for your support in the community as far as the promotion of festival, your involvement in it, the support through donation from the court. So that's really all that I have.
Okay. Well, thank you. Anybody got any questions? Okay, well, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay, one of our other special guests this morning is Randy Adler. Randy?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to ask this court for a donation to Coon Range Lake. Now, we've made a lot of improvements. We've redid the lodge and all that, but we need more money. And we've done good on our donations. People have come forth, businesses have come forth. But we're talking about something that was built in 1947. Now, actually, I did some research, and be honest with you, Coon Range Association actually started in the early 20s. So it's been around for a while. I mean, if you go back and look at the history of Logan County, it may be one of the oldest organizations still going that was started that many years ago. Now, I know times are rough, money's tight, and all that. We're not asking for 100,000, 20,000, anything like that, but we do need some help on it. Now, we are a nonprofit. All the money that comes in goes right back into this place. It's been neglected now for a good 10 years, and it's hard to bring something back in a year that has been neglected that long. Now, I'm not going to put no blame on any one, two people or anything like that, but we do need the money, and I can stand up here and tell y'all all the reasons why you should, but I think it'd be easier for me and y'all too. If you have questions, I'll give you all the answers I can.
Y'all working on the, you working on the dam, or?
We're working on the dam. The dam has been breached. That contract has been given. We are working on the lodge itself. A lot of the contract has been given on part of that. Part of it's already been done. We've redid the floors, redone electrical work, and most of this work has been voluntary. A lot of stuff has been donated to us by companies. But you eventually get to the point where people can't volunteer or can't just donate the stuff you need. And we're at that point. Any other?
So repairs that you've already, I know donations and all, what do you think is a dollar amount that has already been, that y'all have already invested? I'm talking donations, not actual dollars come in. What dollar amount do you think y'all have already acquired so far?
Well, with the donations that we've done got, and then with the stuff that's been donated, and stuff that's sitting there right now, it's donated, we have taken in close to $12,000. Donations and money and all.
Randy, that's always been a membership
Yes,
club,
it's still membership type.
and I'm in favor. I gave you a donation myself just a few minutes ago. But we might have to do a little legal research to see, what can happen or can't happen.
Yep,
I just want to explain that to you.
yep.
For the reason of the fact that, there's other membership organizations in the county.
I understand that.
So we would need to really research it, I believe, when we go.
Yeah, and the way we've kind of done this in the past, we can't necessarily just give money to organizations because we have to make sure it's spent consistent with the way we spend money. So I guess if you want to have the best chance of success on this, if you could think up something that we could do or some different options of things that we could do to put those funds towards, and I can see if they fit into a county purpose, and we can see if they make sure that they're spent in the same manner that we can. We can't give money to an organization who spends it in a way that we legally couldn't, so it's got to be something like that. So you can maybe think of some specific ways we could give you a donation, and that could be earmarked for a specific aspect of your project or something.
Yeah.
Like I said, better success if you could give me multiples. Just, think about it, get back with the people and have somebody send me like just a letter writing out some options kind of as a proposal, and that way I could analyze it as a spending statute.
Would it have to be
Well,
something
right
towards
now, the
public
money
use?
I'm asking for will be for the restoration of the dam.
The restoration of the dam?
Yes,
Okay.
that's where the money y'all would give would go towards that. Plus, we want to build new docks because there's no docks there now.
It would need to be for a specific expenditure, though. We've got to kind of trace where that money is going to be going and spent. That's why I just kind of get with your people about what bill you might want us to pay to make sure that we can prove that's something we can spend money on, and it's an expense that we could pay if it was our own responsibility.
Okay.
But it's got to be that, but then
Yeah.
there's also the
You gotta-
power section of chapter 67 is usually what
I got
but
you.
it's similar to a park, so
Yeah.
hopefully there will be something in there that.
That can be public, that can be publicly used and not a membership. Gotcha.
We, I remember as a kid, that was before the cell phone. I remember as a kid, way before the cell phone, that was a place that provided a lot of entertainment for children in the evening down there. We used to have hay rides and different things, and class reunions and different things, but that was before the cell phone, I don't know what kids do now, but
We intend to bring all that back, plus
Yeah.
have kayak rides for the kids, races and all. But that all depends on getting the water back in the dam too.
yeah,
But, and we're gonna have gun ranges where people can come shoot. We're gonna bring back trap shoots where people can come shoot the traps. Hopefully, we can bring back the Labor Day festivities. If some of you may not know it, but I've seen as many as 1,200-1,500 people down there on Labor Day when we have the big meals and stuff like that. This is more, I know we're a membership, but we're not restricted membership. Anybody can join. We don't care who you are. Now, so it's really an open membership for anybody. The membership actually is the money that runs the place. That's the only way we got to get any money is to have membership where you can pay the bills. So that's more or less reason why it's a membership thing. Now, when the thing first started in 46 is when they actually started building the lake. And they finished in 47 with the lodge and all. But, like I told y'all, the Association of Coon Raiders actually, I know was there in 1923 because I have minutes of their meeting. Now, exactly when they did start, I don't know, but I do know they was there in 23. But they become the Fish and Game Club after they built the lake and the lodge. That's when they changed their names. Excuse me. But like I say, this ain't no London meal. It's been around for a long time. And it's good for North Logan. North Logan really don't have anything for kids or anything like that, except for this place. And we hopefully we can bring it back where it'd be likely for anybody that wants to come. Places, the rental on the lodge is there for anybody that wants to rent the lodge. It's
I think it's a worthy cause. It's a great place. I've been there, been to weddings there. It's a nice place out there. Jason's called me about it. I talked to Jason a lot about it, and he's commented a lot about it. But maybe it'd be easier for, you know, if y'all had some kind of special event that was for public, you know, if you had like a week-long public event that allowed people, anybody to come out to kayak or something, and you could use that money towards maybe helping repair the dam, but it also is a public thing to where people can come. It'd be easier, I think, for the court.
Well, say like on Labor Day, that's open for everybody.
Right. So I think it'd be easier for the court, you know, to use public money towards something if you had a public event or something, you know, like kind of like the Tobacco Festival. It's a public event, you know, that anybody can come to. So if you had a public event the court could donate to, that everybody in the public could attend, you can use that money towards making that happen, which could be making the dam and the water available. So,
Well, like I said, anytime they have an event, it's always open. It's always open for the public. And it never costs nothing. Just like in Labor Day. When they had their meals years ago, they never even charged. I mean, they just took donations. You want to come, it didn't cost you nothing. You wanted to eat, you eat. If you want to donate money, fine. If you didn't, you just eat for nothing.
I got a question too. Number one of my hearing aids is shot, so I hear it on the hay. Secondly, is it privately owned, or who owns it?
Members own it. You take a membership, you own just as much as I do or anybody else. It's a membership-owned place. If you let your membership lapse, you're not owning no more.
How big is it? I've never been.
30 acres.
How many?
30 acres. The lake itself covers over 10, but the land and lots and all is 30 acres.
Who do you say owns 10?
The lake itself is over 10 acres and water. But it's the whole place covers over 30 acres.
How much of it's in water?
10 acres, over 10 acres. I've heard different sources. Some say 10, some say 15.
Did the
So
Corps of Engineers have anything to do with the dam?
what's that?
The Corps of Engineers, does
No.
that have anything to do with?
No.
With privately built, the Corps of the
Yes.
dam was?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we've done good. When we started really getting involved back in April, was when we was really, there were 6 members that we could count. We had, now we're up over 140. So we've done good in 3 months' time, I thought. The community has really come together. They've been very supportive of us. But like I say, there comes a point in time where people can't give no more.
Okay, I guess my suggestion on it, maybe Jason, that's your district.
He's a member.
Yeah, I'm a board member, so I was just, letting y'all see what y'all thought. In my opinion is if it's legal for us to help, and like Tyler brought up a good point, I'm for whatever help the county can do for Coonrane. So, just know that whatever y'all decide to do, I'm for it, as long as it's within the realm of what we can do.
Okay.
I just think maybe if y'all come back with a public event that's, you know, that everybody is invited to come, you know, and then maybe the county could make a donation towards that event. That could also, you know, and that's what I think might be Joe, would that be probably a good route if they had a public event that it's easy for us to maybe donate a little money towards a public event that the public could attend, kind of like the Tobacco Festival.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely an easier one, but Jason, if you're on the board, if you want to talk with some people about maybe have like your one of a specific project, and if we can't find a way that works, then we've got to fall back on that, or just try to email me some sort of like a specific project and proposal that I can then read alongside the KRS that we kind
public, two or three different options and just see what, the court can do.
Yeah.
We'll try to, at the next court meeting, Randy, try to get together and put something together. and have that.
Sounds good.
Appreciate y'all's time.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Jack, you looking good. Think about it. Been a while since I saw you. You take care.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is approving the bill and the supplemental bill list.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills and the supplemental bill list.
Okay, got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Now, is there any question? Okay, not hearing any. Let's have a roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley. Yes. Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, road work request, Tyler?
Let's see, District 1, KL Knight Road. I've had a request for us to put a, either no outlet or dead end sign, because let people know that that road does not go all the way through to another road, to maybe try to deter some unwanted traffic. Other than that, it's continue maintenance, and appreciate everything, Paul.
District 2, as we talked about this. Everything's good, appreciate it.
All right, District 3. I forgot about it, but I got a tile on Lake Skillet Road I need to look at, and I've got the address on my phone. I'll write it down. Johnny Brown, Lake Skillet Road, right there by the bridge. He said the water was jumping across the road instead of staying in the ditch, but I have not checked it out yet. I'm gonna write it down. Next thing, what about Williams Road, Ms. Williams? Did we look at the tile?
Put a little patch right there before we go in there on the road.
Okay.
Is that what she's talking about?
She was talking about over top of her tile, like a hole.
They didn't say, I'll look, but I sent some guys, and they said,
Okay, she said something like, they're in the middle of her driveway, is like a hole of where
I
the.
go by there, and I need to stop.
Okay, all right, well, thank you. Appreciate all the hard work, and thanks for the bush hogging. Continue maintenance, thank you.
District 4, on Beach and Quality Road up towards the cemetery, there's a tree that fell, and I don't know who, somebody just kind of took us out of it. It's like one lane, you go and there. And so I had a call on that. Like Barry said, bush hog was awesome. Continue maintenance.
District 5, Paul, I had a new one yesterday. Y'all mowed, I guess, on Stamps Road, up next to Warren County line, okay, and they done an excellent job. They mowed, you gotta mow, you mow up and down, where you mow the trees and stuff. Okay, the guy called me complaining, said that the road was full of little chips and stuff. He rode a street bike, and he was afraid he was gonna puncture a car. I told him, oh, this would come on. But anyway, I went up there and checked it yesterday, and like I said, whoever mowed done an excellent job. And it was stuff all over the road. Now, here's my next question. Do y'all have a blower or a sweeper or anything to blow that off, or you always, you just,
Well, usually we run the blade over it, or if you have to, we'll pick it up, or sweep it.
of course, eventually the cars are blowing off.
Yeah, we get some, we get a few blades. Just call me when you got one, and I'll run the blade truck through it.
Well, I rode a motorcycle for years, and had 5 or 6, but I mean, that wouldn't bother me. But he was afraid, I did go up there and check it, but other than that, everything's fine.
District 6, just continue maintenance, thanks for everything, Paul.
Okay, y'all have heard the road work request. Do we have a motion?
So move. Y'all awake?
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second on approving the road work request. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, elected officials, Mary. Busy? Okay, Scotty, you got anything to do? Okay, Steve?
No, sir.
Okay, I got to do that real quick. Department heads. Paul,
No, sir.
have you got anything, Nathan?
Just one thing. Good morning.
Morning.
Say the dump y'all approved to clean the other day out in Tyler's district off Newtown Road. Doug Coward, who was approved to clean it, he did clean it up. I think it looks pretty good. We've got to have a state post inspection, and we had some little details to work out, I guess I would put it. But it seems like it's come together. I just want to give an update on that. So everything's coming along pretty good.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I think it'd
Okay.
be Night Electric though, wouldn't it? Instead of Doug, it'd be Night Electric.
It's not an electric official.
Yeah.
Yes.
John, do you have anything this morning?
No, sir.
Okay. Ginger? Okay. Okay, treasurer report. Amanda?
So in your folders, you have a list of budget transfers that we need to get approved.
Move to approve budget transfer.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second to approve the budget transfers. Is there any question? Not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
And today, we need to transfer $25,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the 911 fund.
So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second on the transfer, cash transfer. Any question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
And that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Okay, judges, announcements for the day. Right now, they're still planning on having the Kentucky County Judges Association and the Kentucky Master Association Joint Conference on September the 29th through October the 1st. Now, I don't know where we'll be at a month from now, but they're still planning on having that conference. And this is something every one of you need to pay attention to. We got effective January of 2021. Special taxing districts are to report tax fees and fees to the city or county for approval. In the past and the rest of this year, when they come up here this year, the only thing we'll do is acknowledge what they do. But this fiscal court with the new law passed, either have to approve the tax rate or send them back or whatever needs to happen. But that starts in January this year, so it won't affect the tax rates this fall, but it will affect the future tax rates in Logan County as far as a special taxing district. And one other thing, this morning we received the approval from DOG, Department of Local Government, for the CARES Act funding. Y'all remember the last court meeting that y'all allowed me to sign the application as a supply, but we received the approval this morning. Okay, is there any announcements out there that somebody knows that I don't know?
Judge, I just want to go back to the first announcement about the new law that the court will be required
Yeah.
to approve the special taxing governmental entities. So we're talking about soil conservation, watershed,
Yes.
Instead of acknowledging it, we have to,
So, and I know there's a separate law that governs the library. Will we be doing the library? I just want to be prepared for that, because that's a big, that's a big commitment to this court.
It is.
So, I mean,
Well, this is a law
complain
that,
about it and have no jurisdiction. I'm happy to do it, but I just think everybody sitting here needs to start getting their mind wrapped around that.
yeah,
And be, it's not fair to just simply have a district, I want to be fair to everybody, a district comes or what, a special purpose governmental entity comes and say, here's my budget, and we're asking for a 1% increase, and we just say no, and we have no idea what they do.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna have that responsibility, I'd like to know what all, maybe in the next couple of months, that we know which entities those will be, so I can be a little more proactive of being involved in what they do. Because it's not fair for them to stand up here one day and I don't know anything other than their title, what they do, and then to say, I approve of your budget or I disapprove of your budget. Now, I can do that for county government because I look at every dollar we spend. But I can't do that with the library because I spend 0 time. And it's hard to look at a piece of paper and say, well, your salary is $53,000 and that's 82% of your budget, running a roofing company, that's out of whack. But it may not be out of whack for running a library.
yes.
So I'd like a list of who I'm going to be responsible for approving or disapproving the budget, so I could be a little more proactive and I encourage everybody else to do the same. It's not fair for somebody to stand up at that podium and pass out a budget and you just look at it and you got to clue what they do. Very,
Yeah, I agree.
agree 100%.
I appreciate, we don't have to have it next board meeting, we got time.
Yeah.
We really have a year, although it takes effect January 1.
Start to affect January 1, and you know from attending conferences, the counties that were pushing this.
And I'm okay with it. You've got to be careful what you ask for. We got what we asked for, and so that is a huge responsibility. I mean, we govern a $21 million, almost $22 million budget. We spend quite a bit of time at it, and you're probably going to get close to having 50% more that you're now responsible for, if not more. And again, I don't know all the districts, but extension office is a couple $1 million. The libraries, a couple $1 million. Watershed districts, or they're a couple $100,000 apiece.
Yeah, so we won't get budget reports and stuff like that from those places like we do here. Yeah.
And I think those agencies we should probably, the judge's office, in my opinion, should send a letter out to them. I know they're going to know it, but they ought to be a little more proactive and come maybe every night and then just give a little report of what they do. And, so we can be better prepared of understanding what they're doing for our citizens. And then that way when they show up the budget underneath the knows you, it ain't just a bunch of numbers.
Joe, have you got anything you can add to this?
I think in terms of the list, I agree with you that your responsibility is a lot bigger now, but I think it would just be all those same people that are now coming forward to acknowledge now you're going to have to approve. So that the people that have done that in the last year, I don't know if you have a list, but I think that's just the biggest difference. It went from a acknowledgement to approval. So you touched on the ones that come to mind for me.
So, Joe, and I'm not putting you on the spot, this may be in another court meeting, because, I know health departments, and especially the libraries, they have very specific KRSs that allows what they can increase their taxes by, and they do not need anybody's approval. I mean, that was the last heated debate when we were working. Of course, this is going all the way back when Tom Noe was still here, and they were making some increases, and we would complain about it. And after we did our research, there was KRSs that stated we couldn't stop their increases if we wanted to.
My impression of this is that this is that exact issue, that it started, because if you recall, it started with Tom, but then the biggest blow up was right whenever I had become county attorney, and you all just acknowledged, but you passed a resolution kind of denouncing it. That led to the legislation that for years has required the people to come forward, and I think they thought maybe more transparency would prevent the issue from happening. But this, I guess I'm going to say maybe 2012 to present has been still, it's been their right to do it. My impression of what this would mean is now you all just get to keep sending them back to the drawing board if they're doing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll try to get a letter out to all of them, asking them to maybe come and educate the court a little bit more about what they do and tell them what to,
And I don't foresee a problem, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying we need to be a little more educated, you know, because we're going from, okay, I acknowledge it, you know, what does that mean? You know, it just means you brought it up here, and I looked at it.
We acknowledged
Now
it.
you're asking me to approve.
To prove
Mm-hmm.
it.
That's a whole different ballgame.
it is a whole different ballgame. But you know, the counties that was crying and talking about it every time we had a conference.
Yeah.
And finally, the legislators acted on it, and so it is going to put a little bit different load on everybody on this court.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. I don't know of any report today. Any of you got any reports? I know Jason and myself planned on going to the humane side, and we got that planned tomorrow, or maybe the next day. So, okay. Has there been anything come in on the Texas or anything that we need to include in citizen participation?
On the what now?
Anybody get a text or anything? Okay. Well, skip over citizen participation. We got, first item of business this morning is we got Kelly Harden here to discuss the agreement with Prestige International Insurance, Ltd., and the invoice for payment this morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm gonna bring it down so you guys can hear me. I got a big, you know me, I'm a little man with a lot of words and a loud voice, so probably don't even need this, but I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So, first of all, I want to apologize that I couldn't come here during the renewal process, the fiscal court meeting that you guys approved all this. I had another commitment I could not get out of. I just could not make the move on it. I am confident Thomas did a great job of explaining, and I want to brag on the insurance committee and a couple of people. The insurance committee challenged me to find something different and better, and I accepted the challenge. And I went out and did some digging. This group spent a lot of time going through and understanding all the moving parts of this. Now today we're going to go through a couple pieces of it, but I want you to know that there's a lot of moving parts, and they spent a lot of time making sure they understood it and it was the right thing for the county and for the employees. More importantly, the employees first, but secondly the county and for financials. I also want to brag on Logan and Amanda. They spent a lot of extra time. I know I came over and spent a half a day on a Saturday with them, running through numbers. And then I'm going to extra brag on, she's still here, on Amanda. She came over to my office. We have spent a lot of time so that she understands every penny, where it's moving, when it moves, and how it moves. So thank you to Amanda. Thank you to the insurance committee, but especially thank you to Amanda. She has spent a huge amount of time and has this completely under control. She's done a fantastic job. I wish I had treasurers everywhere that I work like her. So just wanted to brag on her a little bit. Now, there are a couple of items here you should have. One should be this pretty chart, and another one is some writing. And I struggle with not getting too technical, but I think we have to cover a few items before we get into the matter at hand, because if I just go straight to the matter at hand, I'm afraid that it won't make sense. So if you'll indulge me, and as my wife says, if I'm using too much insurance-ese, time out, Kelly, go back and put it back in English so I understand it, okay? Well, I'm going to start with a diagram. And I work best with pictures. So I want to look at these 3 boxes because this is an overview of how your plan works. There's a center box, it's the dark blue in the center. That is Logan County Fiscal Court. You are self-insured. Actually, you're partially self-insured. Because we say partially because we have some safety valves built in. But that deep blue, that is your portion. You are at risk for that portion. That's where you're self-insured. Now there's 2 moving parts. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get technical, but I want you to understand what the moving parts are. Over on the side, you see that where it says specific, and you see it goes up and it goes to $100,000. So what this means is the fiscal court pays the first $100,000 of any claims for anybody on the plan. Okay? That's specific, and they call it specific because it's specific to each person, specifically each person. So we cover the first $100,000. Okay, so we know that when we hit $100,000, we're done. And there's this thing called, you see above it, there's 2 boxes. That's called reinsurance. That is a way for somebody else to help cover that cost. That's what we're going to talk about today. But I want you to understand where this fits in. Now, at the bottom, you see aggregate going across the bottom. Well, we know we're covered on one person, but what if we have lots and lots and lots and lots of claims? Well, we have what's called an aggregate maximum. And it is, if you look at in the white, it's $528,000 and change. So we know that we're limited to $100,000 on any one person, but we're limited to $528,000 on everybody. Make sense? So, and once we hit that number, reinsurance kicks in. Everybody go with me so far? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, the question that we're going to be talking about today is there's 2 levels of reinsurance. That lighter blue box, so you got the dark blue, that's us. And by the way, let's talk about those numbers. Max claims is $528,000. That's the worst case scenario. Highly unlikely we could hit it. Could you? Yes, but highly unlikely. Expected is about where we've seen numbers in the past. And then that 6 degrees, we're using a new program called reference-based pricing. So we think we're going to come in, unless claims blow up. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, right, claims-wise. But we would expect to come somewhere between that $334,000 and that $440,000. That's kind of what we think will happen. Could you hit the 528? You could, but it is extremely rare that happens in the business, okay? Extremely rare. So we know we're protected. Now, there's 2 layers of protection. The second layer, if you look, it says a captive risk premium, or captive. So we are in a captive insurance program. So the second layer is a captive. And let me explain to you what a captive is. It's this. It's really easy. It is an insurance company that a group of employers enter into and say, we're going to cover each other. If we have bad claims, we're going to cover a portion of it. We're going to cover each other. So a portion of our dollars, and we'll go through that in a minute, goes into that captive. And if somebody has a big claim, we as a group of employers, and there's about 30 in this, about 3,500 employees, we all say we're going to cover each other. And at the end of the time period when we settled all the claims out, what's left over? Guess who gets it? We do. Not the insurance company. So I say it's an insurance company, but it's not one that is like an Anthem. It's one that all the employers go together and say, we're going to cover each other. And if there's money left over at the end, we all get our piece back. Okay, that's called a captive. Now, that third layer, that light blue up here, that is truly insurance. That's a company called Berkeley. We send them a premium, we never get it back. Okay, that's just like Anthem. You send them the premium, and that says that any numbers that get beyond what the captive is going to insure, now the insurance company says we've got you. So we got us, we have the captive layer, and then we have the reinsurance. Now what we're going to be talking about specifically today is that middle one, that captive. Okay, that's really why I'm here today, but it's a great chance for us to go through everything. Now, if you got a pencil or pen, I want you to write down a number. We're going to talk about this just in a second. In the blue column, just go out to the side and write 70%. That's going to be an important number in a minute, 70%. And these top 2, the lighter blue and the really light blue, put like a little parentheses and put next to it 18%. Okay, we're going to be coming back to this, but I just want to get a couple of numbers, because when we go and look at this, this is going to be huge. Matter of fact, when I did this, I've done this for a long time, but every time I see this number, it makes me rethink about it again. So now keep this handy, because we're going to refer back to it. Okay, so now let's go through this sheet. And I'm sorry, I know I don't ever make things simple, I apologize. But I want you guys to understand. If I'm getting, like I said, if I get too technical, move me on. All right, so I'm just going to read through this because I think this is going to help us walk through the questions. First one is, there are 3 buckets that you're placing money. When you take $1, there's 3 places it goes. First is administration fees. That's the people that make it run. The Paragons, the 6 Degrees, me. So that's the first, that's administrative fees. We call that a fixed fee because it doesn't change. The only way it changes is if you add somebody or drop somebody. So it will go up and down, but it stays level for the most part during the year based upon your covered population. Okay, so administration fees, fixed fees. Reinsurance premiums. Reinsurance premiums. That is this piece right here. That's those 2 right there, okay? We're paying a reinsurance premium to cover this. So it isn't insurance, it is, but in our industry we call it reinsurance when it's on a self-insured, okay? Now
18% is the 2 blocks.
That's the
combined.
2 blocks, exactly. So 18% is going to cover both of those blocks. Now the third one is 70% is claims. Now think about that. 13% is to run the program. 18% is reinsurance to make sure we've covered in case something bad happens. 70% is in claims. So where do we have the most, where can we have the most impact of making sure we keep the cost where it's affordable? It's in the 70%, right? We can beat up the administration fees to some degree. We can maybe get a little bit better deal on our reinsurance. But honestly, if we get a 3-4% reduction, that doesn't impact the number. When 70% of your dollars are going into claims, that, oops, upside down, 70% is going into claims, clearly that's where we need to be focused. How do we reduce claims? That's why we're doing wellness. That's why we're going to be doing some education during the year, because at this point, if we have a bad year and the rates go up, and we can't go, that mean old Anthem, they're just taking advantage of us. They just don't care anymore. They're about taking care of themselves. Folks, it's us now. It's our employees. We can't blame anybody but us. Now, we also have the ability to push and pull the moving parts, which I do with the insurance committee. We are looking at the moving parts underneath. We see every piece is transparent now. Where Anthem kind of hides it and says, well, here's your premium, there is no hiding it. It is transparent. That lady knows where every penny is going by the different moving parts. Okay, so it is completely transparent. So we took Anthem, we tore it apart, we put it back together the way we wanted to, and we got the program going. I can say, well, I'm knocking on all the wood I can knock on right now. So far, it's gone well. We have any kind of minor bumps we've had, we got it fixed very quickly. We're early into the program. In some ways, we've actually made it a little easier for the employees because they don't have as many moving parts now. So we've actually made it a little easier. So we're hoping that this is a fantastic move. Now, let's go to number 2 on our list, reinsurance premiums. So that reinsurance, which is those 2 blocks, part of that reinsurance goes to the lighter blue, that's Berkeley. We don't get it back. And part of that goes into the middle section, which is where we share. Okay, that's that captive, and we get back anything that's not used, but after the 24 months. We don't get it year 1. It has to be in the program 24 months. We start getting money back, okay? Now, so A, Berkeley insurance, that's premium, we just don't get it back. B, prestige insurance, and that's what we're talking about today. That's the captive. I'm going to use the word captive. This is an insurance company that is shared by all the employers that belongs to the captive. Right now it's about 20 or so employers and about 3,500 lives. And we're sharing it among, and there's some public entities, there's some city governments, but it's nationwide. This isn't like Kentucky. This is across the entire nation, okay? We good so far? All right, number 3, Prestige Captive Insurance Company. Some of the premiums, some of the reinsurance premiums are going into the captive to cover claims for Logan County Fiscal Court and the other participating members. I think we've got that, right? These funds go into what's called a segregated account that is held in a trust at Mellon Bank located in New York City. Okay? Real important for us to understand. It goes into a trust. This doesn't just go into somebody's pocket. It goes to a trust account that's protected and can only be used for certain items like paying claims, right? And it goes into a trust account that sits in well, I say New York City, Mellon Bank has different locations, but they're located out of New York. So your money is not going offshore. Okay, it's sitting here in the U.S. in a bank in Mellon Bank, in an account. Okay, everybody good so far? And the item 3 is unused funds are returned to the employer after 24 months of being in the program. This is called a distribution. It's basically saying that, look, these are unused funds. We, as a group, have said we don't need all this extra money, so we're going to give you back some of what you've put in. Okay, it's not an investment. It is returning what you've paid in. Okay, historically that's been around 21%. Now I say historically, we don't know what claims will be like. But historically, it's averaged out at 21% is returned to us. So that money we're paying in to that captive layer, historically, we get about 20% of it back. That's a pretty good chunk. Okay, we get a nice little check back. So that's money that normally Anthem, well, let me ask you, when's the last time Anthem said, hey, you guys had really low claims this year, let me give you some money back? Doesn't happen, does it? So this is essentially saying we're going to create a little insurance company that says we're going to give you money back when we don't need it. Okay? Now, we good so far? I'm just being real careful to make sure we're good. Number 4, capitalization. Each employer is required to put some money into the captive to get started. It's called capitalization. So you'll put money in each month as you pay your premiums, but everybody has to put a chunk in to get started, right? Your portion, think of this as an initial down payment for the captive, $100. Okay? This is held while you're a part of the captive, and it would be returned to you if you decide to leave the captive. So you got to put money up front that says, hey, we're a part of this, here's my 15.5. Now that's a percentage based upon, there's a calculation that comes up with that 15.5. Every employer put this money in. That's called capitalization. Now, item C, is this money at risk? And the answer is, it could be, if the captive itself, if that middle layer, that insurance company, if it were to have a horrible year and max out all the claims to the point there's no money left, then they will dip into that $15,500 to pay the claims. Okay? They can't ask you for any more money. It's completely funded with your 15.5. So if that captive layer just went completely upside down, it would use all the money you put in, and they could say, we're going to take that capitalization to pay claims. Now, it's never happened. They always pay a 21% distribution back. But that money is held in reserve to pay for any, if something got really bad in the captive. Make sense? So is it at risk? It is, but only in the fact that is if the captive went completely upside down. It's being managed where it's not going to happen. So that's where the 15.5 is going, and that's where your portion of your reinsurance dollars is going. Now, what really brought this to the front is the insurance company is wanting to run as frugal as they can. It's your money. So they formed their corporation. It's called a Bermuda corporation, and this happens all the time in financial services and insurance. Bermuda, which is a little island off the coast, has no taxes, corporate taxes. And so what these insurance companies do is they will form their corporation based out of Bermuda, because that means they run by the Bermuda laws, and that means they're not paying corporate taxes. So as we're running this thing, we're not having to pay out a ton of taxes along the way. Very, very common in the insurance business and in the financial service business. It happens all the time. Okay, and that's where the question came is, wait a minute, this is a Bermuda corporation, that's offshore, is this okay? I mean, and I get it. You're not in the industry, but it is perfectly fine. Now, the other question was, well, we can't invest money. Well, so you're not really investing. So when you put money into the captive, they have millions of dollars sitting there, millions. Now that would be crazy for them to say, well, we don't want any interest on that money. No, we don't want any interest. No. We're just going to let Mellon Bank. We're going to let you hold that millions, and we don't want any interest on it. Well, that's crazy. We're not doing that. So they put it into accounts of that they call it investment. It would be interest. Okay, interest-bearing accounts. So as this millions of dollars is sitting there and getting interest, guess who gets that? We do, because we're part of that. We're part of this, right? So I think one of the items when you read it, the contract says investments, like we're investing in this insurance company, and that's not true. We're investing into the reinsurance. We are paying our reinsurance fees, but that money is being invested, and it basically says we have a right to part of that money, part of that interest when and if there's dividends made, okay? So I think there's some confusion that this is an investment. It's not. It is considered reinsurance, but that money's not sitting there. Now, let me ask you, do you think when Anthem gets these millions of dollars, they're sitting there letting it just sit there without any kind of investment? Of course they're not. But they're not giving it back to you. They're thanking you very much, and they're calling that profit. So again, what we're trying to do is deconstruct what Anthem's doing, put it back together where it behooves us the most. Okay? Everybody good so far? Now, who can reach into that money, into that trust? Berkeley is the reinsurance company. That's the top layer. Berkeley is the one that's handling anything over and above your portion. So Berkeley is the one that would reach into the trust to pull money out. Berkeley, the insurance company, is the one is pulling out to pay claims. Okay, so not anybody can just write a check off of it. It comes through the reinsurance company. Berkeley is the one that has access to that money. Okay.
And they have access to the captive money.
Yes. So they would dip into the captive money to pay as needed, and of course anything above the captive, then they have to pay. But they're the ones that have access to the money. So it's not just any Joe across the street has a checkbook that starts writing checks. Okay, and it's in a trust. So as a trust, there's specific accounting that has to be kept up and reporting. So again, this is not some fly by night, it's sitting in a checking account over here. It is in a trust at a major national bank, Mellon, and the people that access it is Berkeley, the reinsurer that we're working with, okay? Now, is the Bermuda Corporation normal? As I've already said, it is. It's very common. But I wanted to make sure you guys felt comfortable. So we work with two levels. We have two different levels of attorneys we work with when it comes to benefits. We have one out of Lexington that he's great for everyday stuff, and then I have a company out of Boston, which is one of the premier benefits attorneys in the nation. If you flip over to page 2, I sent this to Stacy and said, "Hey, Stacy," and Stacy's a guy, and one of the most intelligent guys I've ever talked to. I sent it to him and said, "Got a client, explained the situation. They're a little uncomfortable about the Bermuda Corporation and also that contract." So I'm going to read what he said. This is back to me. "It is usually standard for the captive insurer to be based in Bermuda." Okay, so this is one of the national players saying this is common. "We can review the terms in detail if the client would like the legal review." That's that big long contract. If you want to, he's $750 an hour, but if you want to, we can engage him. It's kind of a standard contract. I don't know that you really need to spend the money, but that's up to you. And then lastly, I would consider this to be a form of insurance or reinsurance, as we talked about, and not an investment. Let me know if you'd like to discuss. So this attorney who does this every day is telling you this is very common, and this is not considered investment, because I know it's a big concern about can the fiscal court invest and can they invest offshore. But this is not an investment. This attorney is saying that in his view this is reinsurance, okay, and that this is common every day. Now, if the court's pleasure was we just don't want to do this, then that means we got to go find something else, because to be a part of this, you have to be a part of the captive, right? And the captive is a Bermuda-based company. Money doesn't go to Bermuda. It is purely done just to keep the cost down, and the cost down on your behalf. The guys that run this, Echelon, are trying to figure out how do we make this the best we can for the members. And they do that by making sure that they are running as efficiently as they can. Now, that was a lot of talking. My recommendation would be to the court is to go ahead and allow this, knowing that it's not an investment, that it is reinsurance, and feel comfortable that that money is not going offshore into somebody's pocket. It's going into a trust account, a segregated trust account held at Mellon Bank. And with that, I'm open to any questions or thoughts.
Okay, let me just kind of explain a little bit to the court. The reason that we put this on topic, I want the court to feel good and the court to make a decision that we're paying this for insurance.
Right.
Okay? According to our administrative code, if it was an investment, what I'm talking about, we're limited only investments in the continental United States. or something that's federally insured, or they've got to put up collateral to insure our investment. And that's the reason it's in court. I read the contract, and y'all look at the bill. The bill does say that we've mailed the check to Bermuda.
Well, actually, I think that I'm going to get that settled. I don't think that's really where it goes. I'm going to ask, I think it goes to
Okay.
Mellon Bank is where it goes.
Okay,
And I'll double
well,
check that, yeah.
That's where the bill came from, Kelly.
Right, yeah.
Okay, and I read the contract, Joe read the contract. Joe is not an insurance attorney. I'm gonna let him pitch in just any minute now, but I wanted some backing other than, and Amanda wanted this backing too, instead of her just sending a check.
Sure.
You know, that there was some mention of investment, you know, and it is an investment. It's an investment in the future claims. You know what I'm talking about, you know, and we looked at it that way, but looking back at the administrative code, we wanted the court to make the decision. We think this is part of the insurance, and we're just actually paying an insurance bill.
Well, I think he answered that question fairly well, but again, with these contracts, I bring this up to them all the time. I mean, we're talking about, we're taking a leap of faith that we're not going to have any conflicts with this group. And I say that because everything that resolves conflict in the contract with venue and laws and everything is nowhere near Kentucky. So most of it's set in Bermuda, some of it's set by laws of New York federal government. So I just want you all to be comfortable taking that. $750 an hour would probably be a drop in the bucket if there were conflicts with that, because you'd likely have to hire somebody else who's more versed in those areas. I guess ultimately your exposure is not much greater than $15,000 is what they're expending, and I don't foresee any issues, but I would still, my job is to be worst case scenario, and so I wanted you all to at least be aware if we enter into this one, that there are those pitfalls, worst case scenario, and two, it doesn't sound like a investment when you read it, but then you get halfway through it and it sometimes kind of sounds like an investment. And, you know, it would seem to be stupid under law to say you can't enter into this insurance agreement because at the end of it you get your payments with interest back. But I don't think we have to look any farther than the bidding laws of the state of Kentucky, that sometimes Kentucky laws have stupid outcomes. And so I wasn't comfortable definitively saying that this was 100% just an insurance and not quasi an investment that the auditor's office or somebody in the state of Kentucky might say is an investment. I feel more comfortable with it with what Kelly said, because it does, there's some contract lingo in there, and I'll be honest, the reinsurance language, to me, that just sounds like an insurance policy. It's
Right.
just a different kind of an insurance policy.
That's exactly right.
You get down in the weeds too much, and it doesn't necessarily make the most sense. But I think with what you said today and the assurances, and I mean, you've always been great to work with, so I know we can trust you. So my biggest just throwing out there would be, if we do have conflict with this, it's going to be a bigger expense, but no reason to anticipate that there's going to be that conflict.
Yeah, and if I didn't have confidence, I wouldn't have brought it as a solution. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at this as a much broader solution across the state. You guys are kind of the starting point for what may be a way for us to really bring some change into an industry that desperately needs somebody to shake it up. So, and we've done a number of captives. This is the first captive I've done with a fiscal court, but this is not new. We've done captives. We've got private employers that are in captives. So, and I didn't bring up the Bermuda because I guess in my brain it's just part of the program and it's kind of known. It never would have anticipated being an issue until Logan brought it to me. And I actually told Logan I need to go do a little woodshedding on this. I have to go do a little homework so that I could come back and talk intelligently today. I feel comfortable with it. All right. If I didn't, I'm putting my name on the line. So
you make me feel better about it with everything you said. Again, other than just venue is not in this state, but there's no reason to expect that that's going to be an issue. And what you said does make me feel better, but there are also sometimes that governments create laws that keep those things here, and that's why, being the, I guess, first test balloon on Bermuda, we wanted more research and
absolutely.
reassurances, which you've given us.
And certainly want to do that. You know, one of the things I've always tried to be is as transparent as I can be with my clients. And you guys always hear the positives and negatives. And I can promise you that insurance committee heard every negative that could happen out of this. Because I'm really one that tells you first how it can blow up and then what the positive is. Because when it blows up, I don't want anybody to say, well, you didn't tell me. Now, I don't think that's going to happen here. I think I just don't, I wouldn't bring it to you if I thought there was an issue. Now, I wanted to make sure. That's why I sent it off to Stacy, for him to look at it and for him to give me his thoughts. When he tells me it's okay, I feel 100% confident putting my name behind it. Just because of who he is and what he does on a national level.
Judge, do you need any form of motion?
Yeah, I need a motion from the court that we consider this as an insurance, part of our insurance payment. And, you know, because the contract does mention investment in it, you know what I'm talking about, you know. And you know yourself, if you buy stock in a company privately yourself, that you have no control, the board controls it, and that was in the contract, everything, you know, actually I can't think of
How about put that in form of a motion to allow the judge to enter into the contract that was presented and that we were looking at this investment more of a reinsurance and not open market.
Investment.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate the information. I'll second that.
Just so that we're clear, it's like our initial cost, whenever y'all present it to us, this isn't changing that. This is still that same cost, so it's not like we're an additional 15,000. This is just
That's right. This is
out of that cost.
Right,
so.
this is just a piece of that
Yeah.
moving part.
Yeah, so I mean, it's part of something we've already,
That's correct.
and Thomas did do a good job. I know he's a good roofer, but he might miss his calling on
I'm
insurance.
thinking about hiring him.
I thought he was on commission.
I hope the court understood our pain, you know, y'all got the copy of the
We do.
invoice, and I hope you understood our pain. We just didn't feel, we don't need approval to write a check, because the check comes out of payroll anyhow, and we can do payroll items, and but we just need the court to give their opinion on it in this motion, and tell us,
Appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
yeah. Okay, is there any more discussion? We had a motion and a second. Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. I know I put you through a lot of pain the last few weeks, and
I'm glad to do it. And again, I want to say a big thank you to Amanda. She has been amazing to work with. And you guys should have 100% confidence. She's got her hands wrapped around this.
okay, I can agree with that.
Absolutely.
She's done an amazing job.
I think her and a couple more in my office put in way over 100 hours in a pay period in a few weeks, getting all this done. And we sat up there one Saturday. I was planning on coming in for about an hour, and I think we spent about 8 hours up there, didn't we, Amanda?
Yeah, I came over in my gym shorts, and here we go. We got her done. Thank you, everybody. The last thing I'll make a comment is, now that we know clearly 70% of this cost is in claims, we need to do everything we can to make sure that we're making as good a decisions as possible in terms of the way we spend that money. So the wellness program will be doing some education this year to the employees to help them make good decisions. And I've got some other things up my sleeves that I'm working on that I can't share right now, that when it develops, I'll let you know. But I'm determined the system's broken as it sits today. It is broken. And I'm determined, I got about 8 or 9 years left in this business. Before I leave, I'm going to find a better way to do it. And we started that today. So I appreciate you guys everybody supporting this, and hopefully this will be a great alternative for the employees. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, just going back just a little bit, Phil's not here with us this morning. He had another meeting this morning with the Department of Justice, and on a phone meeting. And if y'all read the paper today, if you listen to the news the last couple of days, we've had a couple of incidents at the jail. We had one person passed away early Sunday morning, and then we had one that the health department called down there looking for that tested positive just to COVID on the 14th. And so between that and the meeting today, he's got with the Department of Justice reading, he's not here today.
Know he's got his hands full.
Is the COVID person still in there? Is the COVID person still in the jail?
They're still in jail, but they've been in isolation.
Yeah, I think I read where they're in like a
Yeah.
separate isolation.
And the jail full again. We already got every bed full again. Where people coming in. Okay. Next item of business is to approve the reappointment of Clarence Campbell to the Joint City Planning Commission for a 2-year term. I wasn't able to get a hold of Clarence before the last meeting when we appointed those others. And so that's next item of business.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to reappoint Clarence Campbell. Any question?
The only question I have on this is city appointments. It's up to the city council to appoint.
It's up to I was at a meeting one day this week talking about something else in Thomas there. Jimmy Gillum is appointment for Lewisburg right now. Okay?
That's what I have a question.
Yeah. We just hadn't got the updates from the cities of who they appointed. Okay? All right, no other questions. Let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, this is just for clarification of the minutes. If you look at order number 12 and the June 2nd, 2020 meeting, we were having a meeting that day to have the first reading of the budget again, and a motion was made, and I didn't catch it in the minutes, but a motion of Thomas Bowden, duly seconded by Jack Crossley, to create a fund for future parks and recreation projects with the appropriate revenue and expenditure line item with $250,000 allotted in the Logan County Fiscal Court budget. At that time, we didn't, and I made the announcement up here because we was having our first reading of the budget, that we didn't have time to create another fund and get the budget even passed. So y'all remember we had about 5-6 meetings in June to get all that finalized. And what we did, we put it in an expenditure line item in the LGA fund for park recreation project for Logan County. So just to clarify it for auditors, because we didn't have time to set up a fund, I would like to see that motion retracted and then another motion to put it in an expenditure line item.
And so for clarification, next year, when we set the budget up, that line item will be created, and not only the $250,000 from this current fiscal year, but also when we do the next year.
Yeah.
You know, so theoretically, when we're looking at this point, 2021-22 budget, that it'll be $500,000.
Yeah, well, then it could be a fund set up by then.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We'll move that out of LGA. You know, even though it's sitting in the LGA fund, it's designated for this purpose.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. I'll put that in form of a motion to retract order number 12 from the June
Second.
June 2nd meeting. I guess you need to do this in two parts, or you want to do it in
Yeah.
one part?
What do you think, Joe? You think it'd be okay to do it in one part?
I think that would be fine. As long as it clearly sets out what you need.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think that would be fine as long as it clearly sets out what you need to do.
Okay,
Do it in one part?
one part, yeah.
Okay, so to retract that motion, and then for the motion to read, to put the $250,000 in the expenditure line item in the LGA fund for future parks and recs project for Logan County in the 2020-2021 budget.
Okay. You didn't say anything about removing it from a fund line, to a line item, did you?
He read what's on this
I read
paper.
what was on the thing,
Okay.
I wrote
It says line item on there.
motion to put $250,000 in the expenditure line item in LGA fund for a future parks and recs project for Logan County in the 2020/2021 budget. Is that how you want that read?
That was what I was gonna say the new motion would be.
I put all this in one motion,
Yeah.
so.
Well, what you're doing, you retracted what you did and then.
I think it'd be
said
better
that.
in two motions. I think you need to retract it and then make a motion. Wouldn't that be cleaner? My vote's gonna be the same, but wouldn't that be cleaner? I think you need to retract one and then start another. I think it'd be simpler for paperwork.
Okay, so I'll go back to my
Again.
motion to retract order number 12 from July 2nd, 2020.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second, to retract, order number 12 from June, 2nd, 2020 meeting. Is there any other question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
And I put in a motion to put $250,000 in expenditure line item in the LGA fund for future parks and recs projects for Logan County in the 2020-2021 budget.
I'll second. Oh, Jack second.
Okay, got a motion and, Jack seconded. Any question?
I'll just make a comment that on the survey we pay for through WKU, before we vote, recreation opportunities, survey said that 20% thinks it's excellent or good, 80% thinks it's fair or poor.
You say 20% and 80%?
Yep.
20% must live in my area.
Okay, is there any other comments or any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
No.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
No.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Okay, no, but the motion passes, same way it did
So
before.
that was my only concern in doing that in two separate motions. I could have hung myself, and, but I appreciate everybody voting the same, you know, but, that was pretty darn risky. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, stupid on my part, I could have never made a motion, two separate motions, but.
Well, I just thought it'd be cleaner for Janice to take one motion out because it was gonna stand the same, but it'd just be clear to take that one motion out and then reinstate your motion.
Clear, but I could have hung myself. You know. But thank y'all for voting the same as you did last time.
Okay, next item of business is layout and design of the Humane Society. And he wanted us to depict the design and the layout that we thought was the best And, of course, I got a quote here if we decide to move forward. But Bob, myself have communicated several times. But first phase and the second phase has been completed.
No, I think this way, and we can discuss it all we want, but I'd like to have this right here at our next board meeting, which is the second Monday in August. I don't know what date it is. But I'd like to, but you might say the board decision.
I think Janice, did we email her a
Yeah,
week
she
or two
did.
ago?
She said, but we didn't have our July meeting.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah,
Okay, so if you want to table it to the next meeting,
I mean, we can talk about it right here, to be honest. That would be what I think.
and y'all got a quote there for what the next phase would be if we decided to move forward.
Yeah, we're not, in my opinion, phase three, we're still a little ways away from that.
So one of these drawings, put it directly behind the recycling center, and then one puts it right back where the old one is, right? Is that what it looks like to everybody else? Is there three? No, I think there's two.
I think there's two for each design, Tyler.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Gotcha, but still, both of those, all four of them. One option is it's directly behind the recycling center. Another option is that it's where the old building is currently.
But if you want, I guess the board would need to look at it. And I just know that it was, when we entered into this, I think, Thomas, that we kind of wanted something to show the public to see what kind of money could be raised in.
I think that's correct, Judge.
Yeah, but I mean, is that, are we gonna have to go $88,000 deeper, or?
No, that's not what it is, 49.5.
Okay, so we'd have to spend $50,000 to, basically instead.
To get to that point. You know what I'm talking about? And then that 49.5 where you furnishes a set of drawings, and I understand I've got the cost that he estimates. And usually Bob estimates it pretty close. He might be a little bit that way, but he'll get it closer than a lot of other people have done his times.
Yeah, it's good.
But I know it's a lot here to think about, but I just know Bob, he would like to come down there to these meetings, but he don't feel that's the proper thing to do, and he just wanted to know the layout first, what we like the best.
You know, I think one of the big things, in my opinion, on the layout is we've got to, the Humane Society's got to be functional during all of this.
Yeah.
Because you're talking 270 days for the construction administration. Am I reading that right, where the time for completion could be up to 270 days? So you're talking, you almost couldn't place the building where the current building is. That's almost not an option.
I wouldn't like it, I personally don't think we ought to be
Well, just before you,
behind.
just to answer the point, we, and I thought you were on board, maybe you weren't. We had talked about that before with our past director, I believe it was, and, because asking her, when they were looking at doing a hold on or something type of situation, and she said that she had agreement with our surrounding counties to basically work, you know, I mean, they would still be working state within the facility. Just the animals would be taken to one of the other counties. So it wasn't a problem to tear the building down if you wanted to put it back in the same spot. Because they were wanting to put it in that low spot, man, that's a hole. Why would you want to put it there? You know, the high ground is behind and to the left of the recycle center. And, you know, and so the next time she came, she said, hey, we haven't worked down Warren, Simpson, Christian, counties that, you know, if we decide to tear down the deal, that during construction, that, you know, we can have
And probably just help foster. Yeah, so
it wasn't an issue, no way it did.
that's something that I'll definitely bring up to our new director to make sure she's still happy.
We don't want that old building to be a hindrance to whether that's the best place. I don't know where the best place is, but that's the best place. That's a non-issue.
I just hate for it to be blocked by something else. You know, people can't drive by and see that, hey, there's a Humane Society, you know. I hate for it to be behind the recycling facility. That's just me personally. But someone was, because we obviously want people to see it and show up and adopt animals.
One thing that was an option is moving it closer to the road, you would have the dog runs and everything behind.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I wonder if it's something to do with the terrain. I don't know.
Yeah, you get closer to the railroad tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Fall in elevation.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Sure.
It gets in there. It's real low.
Expensive building that up.
Yeah.
This is a pretty common practice, so when it gets to this point, the architect has got to start making a little money. You know what I'm talking about, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I want us to have a solid plan for us to present to, you know, the community and see who,
And Thomas, I don't know what,
Some partnerships.
I mean, you're more familiar with working with these people than I am. I don't know what a rendering, just a rendering, but he's pretty much got to do a drawing to get the cost estimate over in.
I mean, I don't know that I can answer that. I think he would be happy to supply you with the rendering. You know, I mean, he's gonna charge you for it, but it's not crazy, you know?
Yeah.
You've always been, you know, I mean, I think he'd throw out a number, but you're not talking about $10,000. You probably spend $10,000 if you wanted a rendering to show the public, you know,
Yeah.
for fundraising purposes. I think you pick one of your designs, you know, and say, you know, I can walk the board needs, I kind of like this design, the next design, before entering into this, you know, next stage, that we need to go into, and that's what I suggest. I suggest that the Humane Society goes into a campaign fundraising, you know, and a rendering would be,
Well, I might have a conversation with Bob and see what just, after we pick the location, what, just kind of a
I don't
rendering.
think you have to pick the location for a rendering, you know, I mean, it's gonna be a conceptual building that's based off of one of these designs that you tell them. And I think you do need to probably narrow down which design you probably like the most. But it wouldn't have to be, hey, I'm not going to set it right here, because it's not gonna show the topography. Typically, a render is not gonna show the topography, unless there's adjacent building or something that you're trying to show where it's, this is gonna be a standalone building, 3D rendering.
Okay.
And you have a couple of, you know, like, campaign signboards, you know, you put those on, they'll print those for you, put them on the board. They're great for funds. People can see, this is what my money is going to. And you set up a separate account for that fund, and, you know, you show the public, you know, where it's at, grades, and, you know, what your goal is. I've seen that very successful in my church.
Okay, well, I'll check with Bob on the rendering if you just want to make a motion to table this till we get the price on the rendering, and then we'll pick a design, let y'all look at it. I mean, basically, it's just two different designs in the same locations.
I'll do that. I'll make a motion to table the design, the design and layout of the Humane Society until we get some answers back. Bob, until, I guess it's probably 2
I'll second it.
Okay.
Look at these designs, I don't know nothing about operating. I'd like to hear from the board, especially the director, you know, hey, this work, it doesn't work, why is this way? You know, so we can be done for maybe a render drawing.
And I think these two different options,
They can get that back to you, especially the director for your board.
I think these two different options do have different kennel counts too. If you look at it real close, I think there's, but it might be a balance of something else more. But that's like you said, the board would have a better idea, and your director of the space needed.
When me and the judge go out there tomorrow or Thursday, I'll take this, stay there.
But Thomas is right about that fundraiser and stuff. You set that thing up and people look at it, and I think it goes a long way, showing what your building is gonna look like.
You know, we had a couple of those, had one set up here at the courthouse downstairs, and then had one set up at the Humane Society, and then when the Humane Society does their chili supper and fundraisers, have it set up there.
What's your motion again?
Oh, just to table the discussion until a future, court meeting.
Well,
Study that, clean out, man.
Well, the judge is gonna get a price from the architect on how much it would cost just to get some drawings and stuff, and I need to meet with the director and let her look over the site layout and also the design of the Humane Society building, you know, and see her thoughts about that, and then second Monday of August, I will bring this up at our Humane Society board meeting as well. Table it until future.
okay,
Second.
we had a motion and a second.
I've already seconded it.
Okay, let's have roll call.
We'll have a,
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
yes.
Bolden,
Yes,
Chick.
Yes. Post agenda, I think, Thomas, you got something?
yes. Just request my road hearing for Charlie Mack Road, got Paul still here. So the landowner has cleared the sod out and laid the gravel down. And he hired it done, they had graders and rollers, I mean, it's been compacted, and they've done a really good job. You know, everybody makes any way to do that, so you can imagine, we don't want to play on more than anybody else. And by the way, half that road, if y'all go out there, I mean, it's paved, you know, so half of this road is already paved. It's paved, because there's the mulch line. I mean, it's paved on the left, you're going into it, it's paved on the left already. It's a good idea, and we paved some major public road, but the deed's already done, just waiting for the road hearing process, so, you know, so there's not going to be problem with the deed. I think it's 1,950 feet, is that right, Paul? That's right.
Okay, we'll have to get the paperwork done, posted, and we can handle this at the next court meeting. Okay, any other post agenda?
We didn't have a second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Send it right here, you guys, put that form of the motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper, Kyle, Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay. Any other post agenda?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle, Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.